when you're going to come speak, or when you're going to be pastor, blah, blah, blah. And I guess it was, 2 Wednesday nights before coronavirus hit. I was just in my kitchen making something, God laid on my heart that I'm supposed to have a message for y'all. And I guess the main part of my message tonight is going to be my testimony. I don't know how well any of y'all know me. I'm actually from Russia. I'm adopted from Russia. And kind of what God's done in my life is testimony itself. So, anyway, so, I grew up in Russia, and, it's a different world over there. I know it's a crazy time right here in the U.S., but over there, you have no rights. If you're not in the government, or you're not wealthy, but you're stuck in a high-rise apartment. We had a kitchen every other floor, had the showers down on the first floor, and you can't make a life for yourself. The government tells you what to do, you say jump, they say jump how high. So my parents, it was really tough on my parents, and from time to time they would leave me. Since I always remember how I was 4. When I was 4 years old, my parents would leave me for a couple days, and then they come back. My dad had job after job. He had several jobs, but it was just tough. When you could not better your family, no matter how hard you worked or what you did, it was tough. It took a toll on them. And they'd leave me from time to time. My parents drank heavily. My dad would beat my mom. I remember having to jump on my dad's back and choke him, and then so he stopped beating my mom. And then he, of course, beat me up. I'm a little 4 or 5-year-old kid. What am I going to do to a grown man? So, and things got worse. And finally, when I was 6 years old, my parents left me for 11 days with no food. And, you kind of wonder and question, especially as a child, like, what did I do? You're a child, all you want to do is play. You question yourself. So after those 11 days, I guess somebody in our apartment complex told an orphanage, hey, this kid's parents had left him, he's 6 years old, has no food, I think we sent him to an orphanage. So the orphanage comes to me, asked me if I wanted to go to the orphanage, and I was like, yeah, of course. I was wanting food, I was hungry. Only thing that I had to eat those 11 days, I had a couple of lemons, and I would just quarter them up. I had 4 lemons, I dip them in sugar, and that's all I had to eat. And so they came. Well, I had to go to the hospital before I went to the orphanage because I was so malnourished. I had to get IVs and whatever else so I could strengthen back up and then go to the orphanage. Well, when I was just in the orphanage, my mom, who lived in around Dallas, Texas, my sister Aunt Joy, I know some of y'all know Joy Davis. She's kind of battling with cancer right now, so lift her up in prayer if y'all don't mind.
Amen.
Had a vision, very godly woman. Had a vision of me, of what I looked like, my family heritage, all these specific things about my grandparents, several things, and told my mom. My mom's a college professor out in Texas, taught Old and New Testament. She was a counselor at a Christian college, and told her, I think God has another son for you, Judy. Because I have an older brother who's half Italian. He was adopted from the States, but he was also adopted. And so, by faith, my mom started the process of trying to go get this child. You just have a description of light brown hair, olive skin, round face, just these features, be any random kid. And so my mom started the process, and for a year, it takes a long time to adopt a kid. For a year, I spent a whole year in the orphanage, and it was tough. It was tough in the orphanage. It wasn't just because I had food and, you get an orange for Christmas and have 2 sets of clothes for a whole week. It's a tough world over there. And the older kids, they make you fight each other, kids your age, and if you didn't fight them, they beat you up. It's just a different world over there, and it was tough. Some of the kids would make you drink their pee. It got bad. It got really bad. I have a bunch of stories I can tell you that I try not to share. I'm not scared to share because I've been what God's brought me through. It's a testimony in itself. And so, anyway, I was in the orphanage for a year. My mom came to got on the paperwork file. There's so much paperwork I don't even know what it compiles to or of. And went to Russia, by faith. Went to adoption agency over there and kind of gave some of my features, my descriptions of what I look like. And you had to talk to the Russian organization, and they were like, okay, we have the board for you. But the thing was, you can only see 3 kids. That's it. I couldn't look at 4 of y'all, I can only look at 3 of y'all, and that was it. If I wasn't one of the 3 kids, you go home. That's it. You either adopt one of those 3 or you go home. It's not you can look at thousands of kids. So, this woman said she had a description of a kid, which I was 7 at the time, but there was a part of the orphanage in Russia where these orphans were even worse than I was. I mean, pretty much like lived on dirt, lived on the street. The log houses were black looking. It was horrible, even worse than what I was in. So I couldn't even imagine because Mom just described it to me and had pictures. So they went to go see this boy named Paul. She knew he wasn't the one because he was 9 years old. He didn't have all the features that I had. So she told the woman, she said, I'll go see this boy if he's not one of the 3. You cannot count him as one of my 3. But this woman wanted my mom to adopt this boy so bad because Stalin, who was, I guess, like a president, you want to say here, but he's really a dictator. It was a really Christian town, and there was a big dam, and he flooded the whole town and killed everybody in the town. The only thing that was sticking up was a church steeple through the ice. So my mom and my brother went over to this region where the orphanage was at, met with this boy Paul, and they knew he wasn't the one, but they did everything to help him. They gave him money and tried to help out the orphans the best they could. So heading back from meeting Paul and them, they come back and met with a translator. They had a translator named Olga, an adoption agency woman named Olga as well. And they told her something. They told her I was half Jewish, which over there, I don't know. I know y'all. I'm not sure if y'all part of the Holocaust. They say 6 million Jews that the Germans killed, but it's really 12. But they murdered in concentration camps and burned them up. And later, I found out came to the U.S. and my grandfather was in the Holocaust because they had numbers. They were tatted like you were in prison, but they had a tattoo on their arm. So. Anyway, so she goes to this woman, she gives her a description, told them my elderly grandparents, and that I was Jewish. And so this woman goes to the Russian adoption agency, and because my mom couldn't go in there since she wasn't Russian, and out of that stack of 1,000 files, she pulls out the first file and everything matches of my features and everything lined up. But she went ahead and spent the next couple hours looking through the rest of the files, and okay, that wasn't the boy. So my mom ended up said, I want to see this boy. So they came to my orphanage, and it felt good the first time to somebody that cared and loved for you. Because I've been abandoned. I've been treated like nothing. So that's how you grew up. I know there's some of y'all in here that's probably grown up without parents. That's had a hard bring up, and it felt so good for somebody to love and think a lot, care about you. And so I visited with my brother. We kind of played. And, one of the things that was really important to my mom was having a servant's heart. And I've always tried to serve people. I've always tried to put people above myself because that's what we're here to do. We're supposed to be like Christ. We're supposed to serve others. That's what Christ did. He didn't hang out with all the cool people, with all the good people. He hung out with sinners and try to change people's life. And so I've always tried to live that way. So my parents, my mom and my brother came. They stayed for a week after I met them and saw that everything lined up and said, I want to adopt this child. She's like, man, we'll just kind of take some time. It's a big process. It's a lot of money. She's like, I want to adopt this child. So they went ahead and started the paperwork to adopt me. But they had to leave Russia and go back to the U.S. for a month for the paperwork to start and then come back. So they came back, and man, talk about a life change. I got to stay with them when they came back in Moscow for 2 weeks. And so for the last week and a half before we left to go to the U.S., I got to stay with them, and it was the capital of Russia, Moscow. It was really pretty, and just to get to bond with my brother. So we get the paperwork finished. We come back to Dallas, Texas, where we lived for 3.5 years, and stayed there for a while until my mom started having some health issues, and ended up retiring and come back home to Spring Hill. So ever since the 4th grade, I've been in Spring Hill. Went to the elementary, junior high, high school. Went to the Lumberjacks for a year, and then North Webster, and graduated in 2014. And I guess what I wanted to tie in with my message was talk about acceptance. I know especially in high school, acceptance was was something that I battled with a lot, because you want to be accepted by your friends. You wanted to fit in. That was the big thing that I kind of struggled with, because I felt I was different. People knew I was from Russia, think I'm something special. I'm not. I'm special for what God did, to bring me out of where I was at. But and I struggle with acceptance. I try to, I guess it's a void that you try to fill. I always tried to fill that void with football. That was kind of my thing. Played high school football, started off 4 years in high school, went on to play college ball, and when I got right into high school, I was really good. I had Louisiana Tech and a few other colleges looking at me, so that became my God. Football was my God. You always try to, no matter what you do in life, y'all have a God, whether it's sports, academics. What are you spending the most time in? That is your God. If you don't have your priorities lined up, what is the first thing you do in the morning? And
cell phone.
I'm guilty of it. I get it on my cell phone, but what I try to do now is try to read my Bible, speaking of cell phone. And then, of course, get on social media. Who doesn't get on social media and all that stuff? I'm not going to say I don't. That's me a lot. But, and so I always, those avoid I try to feel. I run away from God's calling. I've always known since I was born that I was supposed to speak and travel around the world and kind of share my testimony and kind of what God's done for me. But obviously, as you can see, I'm over here nervous and kind of shy, so I don't like to standing in front of people and talking. And so, but that's what God called me to do. So he equips the call, doesn't call it quit, I guess is what they say. So, but in high school, I battled with trying to fit in with my friends. I guess, you always want to have your clique, whatever your clique is, whatever you're interested in. And I try to fill that with a lot of things, and I turned away from God. I ran from what he wanted me to do, what he called me to do. I guess I wouldn't say ran, but yes, you try things out. I guess they call it learning when you're young, which, anyway, don't get me started on that. But, so I try to fill that with sports. Football, especially my freshman year, I thought I was a stud. I was defensive tackle, I led our team in sacks. Hey, Louisiana Tech's looking at me, going, I'm something. Sophomore year, get a wake-up call, or in between my sophomore and junior year, get a wake-up call, do something stupid, break my ankle in the sophomore year, a week or two before my football season starts, for fall camp. And I was like, you reevaluate yourself. That season was pretty much my sophomore year. Football was over with. What I thought was my God. I was like, hey, I'm this. I think I'm bad. I think I'm pretty good at something. But that's what God does in our lives. He gives you a wake-up call. Whether you respond to that or how you react, that's your choice. So, then it went from football to I had an addiction with porn. That was real. And sadly, that my brother's not where he should be with his faith, and introduced me to that when I was younger. But you cling on to other things. You try to fill that void. And I never really understood that until I went through that and had to deal with my dad, who was here in the U.S. He didn't actually legally adopt me, because him and mom were actually divorced at the time. But when we lived in Dallas, he took care of us. He was always there for us, but when we moved to Louisiana, he separated. He, I guess, didn't really want nothing to do with us. And that was kind of hard for me, because I've already lost my father, my birth father. Felt like he didn't want nothing to do with me. He left me. And then my other father, who I call Dad, I still call Dad to this day, which I don't have much contact with him. But that was tough when I moved here because I tried to call and reach out because you want that. From a son's relationship, I've always wanted to have a father relationship. I don't know how y'all are about that, but I've always been for the ones that do have a father relationship. I have to be thankful because it's been a void to fill that only God can fill. And so I struggled with that. And my dad's always ran from the ministry as well. He's had a call on his life, and he's ran from that void. And so I kind of got to experience, God woke me up. I saw what he tried to feel. He was a very successful businessman, made millions of dollars, had whatever he wanted, and he could never fill that void. There's only one thing that can fill that void, and that's Jesus. I don't. Everything else is temporary. Drinking, drugs, sports, for me, when I was in practice, when I was in football practice, that was my way from reality. We tried to, run from reality. That's what, especially a lot of my friends still drink, and some of them do drugs because of what we're dealing with in life. Instead of trying to face it the right way, we run to temporary things to forget and get away from it. So, but one of the things I wanted to do was share a couple of verses. One that really sticks out to me, that my mom, when she a godly woman, not only did she teach the Old and New Testament at a college, but she instilled in me who I am today, which I'm thankful for. But and every morning, she'd make me a big breakfast, and she'd always read the Word to me and just poured her life into me. And one of the verse she would say, even no matter where she read the Bible from, every morning was Proverbs 22, verse 1. It says, "A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, loving favor rather than silver and gold." And she would repeat that to me every single morning. Remember, it's better to have a great name, good name than great riches. Because no matter how successful you are in whatever God has called you to do, it doesn't matter, because you're not going to get to take that up with heaven. How are you impacting and touching people's lives, and how are you walking in your faith, and what are you doing to impact people's lives? Because our job, our money is nothing. In heaven you walk on the streets of gold. So what is money and everything mean to God? Obviously nothing if you walk on it. How many people would think that? And that's glorious Lord. So that's one of the things. That's one of the verses that Mom always read to me. But here's something I kind of wanted to share. I knew I wanted to share a little bit of my testimony, but I had an issue and I was praying, God, how do I connect kind of what I went through, my story, about acceptance? And I was on social media, believe it or not, reading my Bible, and it was actually on Facebook. This verse popped up, and it kind of stuck with me, and I wrote it down tonight for my notes. And it's in Exodus 14:14, and it says, "The Lord will fight for you. You only need to be still." That just kind of resonated with me, especially with what we're going through in this day and age. Everybody, there's so much chaos with the coronavirus happened, and then this division in our country that's been created. We want to focus on that, and instead of focusing on God. And that's and when I get on social media, I read my Bible, and then I get on there, and it's like questions like, well, why God? Or I'm taking my focus off of Him and worrying about the earthly problems. And that verse really kind of stuck out to me, because it's hard. I don't know how much of y'all heard about the rapture, but the end times are coming. End times are here. They've been saying it since I was little, and I know y'all probably heard it as well. But God is coming back, and the question is, are you ready? And you have to. No matter that, that's the main question that I guess I want to leave you with, is are you ready when God comes back? Because He can come back right now. Are you saved? Because if you're not saved, then you're going somewhere for eternally. You're not going to die. Eventually, you're either going to die on this earth or God's going to come back. And my question to you is, are you ready? That's a personal question. I don't want y'all to respond to anything like that because, I was mowing my yard the other day and just listening to my music and, just thinking because I know I ramble. Y'all heard me ramble. I talk fast. And I wanted to share my testimony and relate with y'all kind of what I went through. And God, once you have a relationship with God, the way I try to explain it to people, it's just like us going to school. The closer relationship we have to God, it's like going to grade school. When you just become saved, you whatever first grade, metaphorically, and move up. That doesn't mean life gets easier. Life actually gets harder just like school. Each grade gets harder, but God prepares you. When you go through, you have a test in school, the teacher's not telling you, okay, hey, this answers this, the answer's that. The teacher's prepared you to take that test most times and is waiting to see if you pass. And that's kind of the way I've took my spiritual walk is God just taking it one step at a time or one grade at a time. That's kind of how I viewed it. Because life does, just because you're saved and ready to go to heaven doesn't necessarily mean that life gets easier. It actually gets harder because the devil's going to attack you hard because guess what? He wants you to be with him. But, what I was going to say was I was mowing the other day and just listening to my music. A guy kind of spoke to me and said, he was talking to me, but I feel like it really relates to what I was saying tonight is we're not, he told me, you're pretty much talking to me, he said, you're not judged by what you go through in life, but how you handle what you go through. And it might not be really powerful to y'all, but just think about that for a second. We all have different battles, and nobody here on earth is perfect or has a perfect life. And, that's the truth. And we all have different battles we go through in life. I guess my question would be how are you living your life? And all this stuff that's going on in this world, it's in the scriptures. It's been lining up. The fires in Australia, the locusts in Africa, there's things that are lining up, and something that really spoke to me, because sometimes the word can be complex and it's hard for me to understand it, but something that really stuck out with what Pastor Jeff Springs, our pastor, said is everything has already fallen in line biblically for the rapture, for Jesus to come back. So I guess my question, what I want to leave you with tonight is are you ready? You have to answer that for yourself. So I guess if y'all don't mind, will everybody just bow y'all's heads for a second? And I just want to ask if there's anybody tonight that hasn't accepted God as your Lord and Savior. If you wouldn't mind, raise your hand. Maybe we'll pray with you.